Hey guys, it's Ragnar here. I'm the voice behind Bobbert. So, I'm playing a game called Punishing Grey Raven today. I'm gonna show off a boss fight in it, which I found pretty cool. Now, I actually already did a video on this, but that video had poor quality and was in too small of a format. So, in order to compensate, I'm gonna do it again. Now, this game, we're gonna do one of the bosses here. So first off, is gonna be showing why I quite like this character enough for me to make a full video on her. Second half is gonna be a breakdown of her design as well as her lackeys. Understood? Okay, let's just wait for the game to load. Yeah, it's a Japanese game, that's why there's a questionably aged girl there. The plot, however, compensates. That's not too horny, thank God. Just gonna wait to load. There we have it. I'm nervous about fighting this guy again, but I'm fairly confident I'll make it to the second phase. Now, let's start with a banger cutscene. Banger cutscene. That's the previous enemy. Best girl Vera. She's the red-haired chick. So then let's start off by damn, that was quick. Okay. Yes! We got Bambinata. Now, the reason why I like this fight so much is, for starters, her design. Now, what is the first thing that draws your attention to the design? Let's start off with a little basic, shall we? Her maid dress. Because you see, the whole motif behind it is that She's like the governess of an orphanage of androids called Constructs, and she's the head robot that controls them. It's like it's a combination of two horror genres technically. It's like a more traditional science fiction horror, all the robots are crazy, but then you've also got stuff related to child abuse here and manipulations. But that ties into the puppet strings, does it not? Because yeah, there's the obvious connection of it being a fancy form of robotics, but it's kind of like how she manipulates the children, I guess. How she keeps an iron grip on them. That blue girl, Bambinata, is she's the big character of this whole side story. And she's like she's a held here. It's part of her arc as a character. Bringing memories back. Not necessarily her individuality. I'm pretty sure they're going to expand that in the future. Pardon me. Like, the weapon she uses, if you look closely, it's a cane. Like, she's beating children. And so, I find that, look at her back. Look closely. Can you see it? It's like there's hands sprouting out of her back. Like, if that's not grotesque, that's, I don't know, there's probably a lot of things worse than that, but, just wait till you say a second phase. But, as I was gonna say, so the cane and the extra hands, they tied to the whole control thing even more, like to do with discipline and stuff like that. But they also heavily relate to the impact it has on children. Because, yes, the cane is extremely painful, but it's not just the cane. Like, you saw in the cutscene, she, like, grabbed Bambinita, I don't know if you pronounce her name, by the skull and, like, lifted her up. Like, that would have been traumatizing. And, as we see with some of the, other character designs, childhood trauma is a big part of this. We won't get anywhere too disturbing, though. We won't get into Epstein's Island territory. But, if you're scared of robots, and, if you've ever been freaked out by orphanages, you'll probably want to watch something more entertaining for your weak mind. Just wait till you see the second phase. Yes! So, I should probably explain how Bambinita ties into all of this. Vera's not important, she's just here on the right, but, Bambinita's whole thing is that, as you probably saw in the, opening, that she's got strings on her. She's like her whole theme and fighting style is that she's a puppet. Like, she fights like a puppet. Whereas Vera has a sword, because, she's a full-on soldier. The control placed on Bambinita by, both the, Madoria governess, and by the human woman who controls her now as her commandant, is represented by that. Oh, second FaceTime. I know that the image quality of this thing is so terrible, but you're not going to be able to truly appreciate how gorgeous this fight looks. Like, I'm running like this on a somewhat low-end phone, and it still looks beautiful, but anyway, see, aside from her sexy legs and her cat now, like, she's all become contorted and uncanny, like, you saw that humanoid face, those his twisting arms, her arching bolts of lightning, like she's more on the lines of a traditional science fiction murder robot like Terminator, or well, it's a common trope, Ragnar. Ultron. I'm missing somebody. Frankenstein. He's an AI. The AI. Like, it's less. She's more inhuman. Like the amount of control and power the governess has, like, is expressed truly. Like, this is what she feels like to the AI children. In fact, you saw what she did there, right? Where she crawled on the walls. Yes, that's symbolic of how she was able to creep into their lives and affect them so deeply. But, which I find particularly interesting in terms of how it's in terms of gameplay. Like, the whole aesthetic of the electricity, okay, I should probably explain a few things about punishing grey movement law. Okay, so the reason why, AIs, known as constructs, who are what Vera and Bambinata are, as well as the dead, orphan kids, are basically they're human minds which have been replicated into a mechanical body with enhanced capabilities. They're not truly that same person, but they have an artificially generated simulation of a human mind called MIND, and they have varying levels of humanity. Like Babinata is a very still obeys and thinks like puppets, but others can get a bit wackier. The creation of constructs was to stop killer robots called the Corrupted, who in turn were created by a thing called the Punishing Virus, which is like a biomechanical microbe which came from a nuclear reactor in space. And then there's also the mutant fish robots of the sea, and there's this whole other story about a play. And, yeah, it's weird. Although it is interesting to note that the colour of the strings has changed. Like, I guess the gold symbolized the gold and the blue symbolizes two sides about the Madoria, I guess. Like, on one hand, the gold symbolizes her as being a caring figure for children. Like a proper equivalent to a parent. A sensible governess, but this one, the blue, it's more eerie. It's less resplendent. It's more about her being about it being something unnatural, which they all are, but her especially. I mean, just look at her. Like, at least the constructs look somewhat human, if a bit mutilated, as we will see. Also, I want to point out something. This fight has one disadvantage. I don't think that I should be able to respawn this much, but but I'd say that punishing Grey Raven's boss fights are good enough. Where if it was just a boss rush game, like if it was just something like a Monster Hunter, where you like exclusively mainly fight like bosses. Could this work? Like, I don't know, like Monster Hunter bosses are a bit more unpredictable, I think. Because they interact with the environment in certain ways, like they retreat and they hide and they have specific weaknesses. When will this end? I think I highly doubt I'll be able to beat this current fight, but we shall simply switch the gallery. Get a better look. I hope that the quality on this damn thing does the models justice. At least the audio will probably be good. Okay, so let's start off with the girl of the hour herself, Madoria, the governess. Look at those legs. Now, let's take a look at Dottie. So her getting murdered, she's a mini-boss. Now, I don't have much to analyse about her, but firstly, despite the fact that she's very tall and imposing, if you notice closely around her body, her wrists, her pigtails, she's got shackles. She's got the spiked chains. And well, you saw how Madoria stomped her. So, I believe that Dottie symbolises a favourite child, as it were. But a favourite child only in the sense that they're appreciated more than their siblings, but they're still just as neglected, only with more autonomy. Now, I don't know what to say about the good child. I like the touch of the ruler as the weapon, but the real horror of this is this guy. Now, these guys are constructs. Pretty sure like Dottie, Madoria, mechanoids, they're robots. But these guys, these things, those are once actual human children. They still think with their MINDs. And they still feel because the mind constructs of course, I'm not gonna explain punishing Grey Ravenclaw that much, but okay. So the first thing I want to draw attention to is the fact that we can obviously see it along here. The arm is torn open. Like, you can clearly see it's mechanical. But what adds a sense of uneasiness is, I think, in all the nails. Because, think about it. The way they jut out, it looks like he's been tortured, does it not? Which is a very eerie effect. Like, his hammer, it implies that he's been, nailing these, implements to himself as a punishment. Now, I'm not going to show you the scene, but there's a scene where Vera tries to ask questions to a naughty child. And what she does, it just responds with group games and then rushes off to play with its peers. Which goes to show, like, on one hand, it may just be an interpretation of children trying to rationalize the abuse they face in orphanages because, well, they're innocent, they don't really know anything else, especially if they have to be parents to educate them. But, just look at this man's head, see? See? The paint moves away, there's a gash there, it's mechanical. And yet, those eyes, they're very clearly crying, are they not? Now, let's, is she gonna be here? Sadly, no, hang on, I'll find Bambinata. Aha! Mantis blades, you see. So compared to the nails of the naughty child, and compared to the cane of the, Maderia, the governess, and I guess Dottie's, what's they called again? Wind-up thing, and the good child ruler, Mantis displays a lot more eloquence. Like, the way she, she's, look at how, let's look at her again. See? See? She moves with the support of the strings. She doesn't mean controlled by them. It's a body. Like, if you weren't looking at her in the context of her being a machine, a construct, you'd think she's human. And that's symbolic of her expressing her individuality. Or maybe it's just because the horny Japanese designers wanted to appease people with weird fetishes about string and little girls, but let's not talk about that. I hope you had a nice day. Goodbye.